Have you ever wondered if history isn't just forgotten, but actively, deliberately erased? We live in an age that prizes information, where every event is meticulously recorded, debated, and archived. Yet, lurking beneath the surface of our collective understanding lies a chilling mystery from the ancient world, the systematic annihilation of memory. This isn't merely the slow decay of forgotten facts, nor the accidental loss to time's relentless tide. This is the calculated, often brutal, removal of entire narratives, figures, and events from the historical consciousness of civilizations. What dark power compelled mighty empires to obliterate their own pasts, to perform what can only be described as memory erasure rituals? And what enduring, unsettling echoes of these forgotten practices still resonate in our world today, shaping our present in ways we may not even comprehend? From the very dawn of organized society, the power of memory has been understood, revered, and sometimes feared. To remember is to exist, to have influence, to possess a legacy. Conversely, to be forgotten, or worse, to be actively unwritten from the annals of time, is to suffer a fate more profound than death itself. It is to be denied the very essence of historical reality. The phantom past invites us on a journey through these obscured chapters, a journey into the heart of deliberate forgetting, where we unmask ancient empires' forgotten memory erasure rituals. One of the most vivid and well-documented manifestations of this phenomenon emerges from the grandeur of ancient Rome, the practice known as Damnatio Memoriae. Imagine the fate of an emperor, once lauded, whose statues adorned public squares, whose name was etched in marble, whose face gazed out from countless coins. Then, overnight, with a swift, merciless decree, their existence was revoked. Their names, painstakingly carved into monumental arches and administrative records, were chiseled away, leaving jagged scars on history's face. Their images, once symbols of imperial power, were defaced, eyes gouged out, noses broken, faces rendered unrecognizable, a visual metaphor for their expunged identity. Their very likeness, meant to immortalize them, became a canvas for oblivion. This wasn't merely a posthumous punishment. It was an attempt to retroactively erase their entire reign, their very being, from the collective memory of the empire. It was an act of political retribution, yes, but it transcended the mere administrative. It was a declaration that this individual had never truly been worthy of existing within the historical narrative, a desperate attempt to sever their connection to the present and future of Rome. But the story of memory erasure extends far beyond the political theater of Rome. While the deliberate destruction of libraries and archives by conquering forces, the burning of Alexandria, the sacking of cities, undeniably resulted in monumental losses of knowledge, these acts, however catastrophic, were often incidental to warfare or dominion. They were a consequence of conquest, a byproduct of power. What we are exploring here is something more insidious, something deeper, a deliberate, almost ritualistic purging of specific memories. It's not just about what was lost in the fires of war. It's about what was systematically removed, piece by painstaking piece, from the tapestry of existence. Consider the early Egyptian pharaohs. The desert sands hold more than just mummified remains. They conceal the remnants of historical expurgation. Figures like Akhenaten, the revolutionary pharaoh who dared to defy centuries of polytheistic tradition to establish a monotheistic cult of the Aten, faced a complete and utterly comprehensive erasure from official records after his reign. His ambitious project, his very existence, was deemed too dangerous, too destabilizing for the established order. Following his death, a systematic campaign was launched. His monuments were meticulously dismantled, stone by laborious stone, as if to scatter his very essence to the winds. His name, once revered, was omitted from king lists, a gaping void where a pharaoh should have been. His images, once ubiquitous, were defaced or replaced. It was an attempt to deny his very reality, to pretend that the radical shift he initiated had simply never occurred. The goal was not merely to condemn his ideas, but to erase their origin, to silence the echo of his challenge forever. The ancient lands of Mesopotamia, often hailed as the cradle of civilization, also bear testament to these chilling practices. Scholars poring over cuneiform tablets, deciphering the intricate scripts of Sumerians, Akkadians, and Assyrians, have uncovered hints of a deliberate unnaming of deities or rulers. This went beyond mere administrative decree or political slight. To unname a deity or a powerful figure was to spiritually void their influence, to sever their connection to the cosmic order, to render them powerless in this world and the next. It implied a belief in the inherent power of a name, a belief that by stripping it away, one could nullify its spiritual or cultural potency. This was a ritualistic act of oblivion, a desperate measure to negate influence deemed dangerous or undesirable, to prevent a spiritual or cultural contagion from spreading through the fabric of their society. These profound acts of memory erasure, whether the public shaming of Roman emperors, the systematic effacement of Egyptian pharaohs, or the spiritual unnaming in Mesopotamia, leave scholars grappling with fundamental questions about human nature and the mechanics of power. Why did these ancient civilizations engage in such extreme measures? What drove this relentless pursuit of historical nullification? One prevalent perspective posits these acts were fundamentally pragmatic, serving as acts of control. From this viewpoint, memory erasure was a tool, a sophisticated political weapon designed to cement new political orders. By eliminating rivals from historical consciousness, by making their contributions, their very existence, disappear, the incoming regime could present itself as the sole legitimate inheritor of power, untainted by the past. The history could be rewritten, streamlined, to fit the desired narrative of the current rulers. It was a powerful mechanism for manipulating public perception, for ensuring that only the sanctioned version of events endured. If a ruler's mistakes, their rebellions, or their very claim to authority could be made to vanish, then the new order's legitimacy became unquestionable, built on a foundation of carefully curated memory. However, another intriguing theory suggests a deeper, almost mystical belief underpinning these rituals. This perspective argues that ancient societies held a profound understanding of the power of memory itself, not just as a record of the past, but as a living force, capable of influencing the present. From this viewpoint, by erasing a memory, by denying its place in the collective consciousness, one could actively sever its connection to the present. The aim was to prevent spiritual or cultural contagion. Imagine a powerful cult, a forbidden idea, or a disgraced lineage. If the memory of it persisted, it was believed that its influence, its dark power, could continue to seep into the present, potentially corrupting or destabilizing society. The act of erasure, then, became a form of exorcism, a spiritual cleansing designed to remove the lingering taint of an undesirable past. It was a belief that a forgotten threat was a neutralized threat, that an unremembered idea was a powerless one. A third, particularly compelling hypothesis, explored more deeply in the phantom past, suggests these rituals were a form of collective trauma management. Just as an individual might suppress a painful memory, pushing it into the subconscious to cope with unbearable grief or guilt, so too might entire societies attempt to purge catastrophic events or profound moral failings from their collective psyche. Consider devastating plagues, brutal civil wars, or acts of unspeakable cruelty perpetrated by their own people. The memory of such events could be debilitating, undermining social cohesion, fostering guilt, or inviting future retribution. By actively erasing these traumatic chapters, By denying their occurrence or sanitizing their impact, societies might have sought to heal, to move forward unburdened by the weight of their own darkest moments. It was an attempt to rewrite reality not for political gain, but for psychological survival, to create a collective narrative that allowed for continuity and a sense of shared, albeit fabricated, innocence. The answers to these questions are as elusive as the memories themselves. Was it about preventing dissent and solidifying power, protecting spiritual purity from malevolent influences, or a desperate collective attempt to rewrite reality in the face of overwhelming trauma? Perhaps it was a complex interplay of all three, a shifting tapestry of motivations woven into the fabric of time. The fragmented clues left behind, the scarred monuments, the altered texts, the unexplained gaps in historical records are our only guide. In this captivating exploration, we unearth these whispers from the past, piecing together the chilling implications of these memory erasure rituals. What impact did such deliberate forgetting truly have on the course of human history? Did it succeed in forging new identities, or did it merely bury resentments that simmered beneath the surface, waiting for the opportune moment to erupt? Did it genuinely prevent spiritual contagion, or did it simply blind future generations to the dangers that once plagued their ancestors? And what about us today? In an age of information overload, where past and present collide in an unending digital stream, are we truly immune to the subtle and not-so-subtle forces of memory manipulation? Could echoes of these ancient rituals still resonate in our present, shaping our understanding of who we are, where we came from, and what we choose to remember, or, crucially, to forget? The phantom past, it seems, continues to haunt us, urging us to question the very foundations of our historical truth.